It is
So we're both blue today.
we're so blue for you. How did that happen?
I don't know. We didn't even coordinate it. I have my Minnesota LP
I
t-shirt
don't.
on.
I just have boobs.
Oh,
There's not. I know. Yeah. It's not 3D though. Not
no.
as much fun as that. Oh, but I know it's like we didn't even like say like what are you wearing? What are you wearing?
What are you wearing?
What are you wearing?
Oh,
Um.
we should probably introduce ourselves.
Oh my God, who are we? Oh, we're the Sweet Subversives. I'm
Yes.
Heather Biederman.
Kara Schultz.
Oh, I'm like, oh, point the wrong way. Their way. The lovely Kara Schultz.
I know I can't.
No, I, it's so backwards. Like,
Yes.
how did they do it for the Brady Bunch? They were brilliant and ahead of their time. It's like it'll take me years to figure this out, but that's okay.
Yes. Yes. So enjoying, we have beautiful, beautiful Minnesota weather
Oh,
yesterday and today.
perfect, isn't it?
Amazing. Yeah. It's sunny, it's hot, but not too hot, not too humid. It
Everything
it has
just
been
right.
perfect. Perfect weather.
So if we were Goldilocks, we'd go just right.
It is Goldilocks weather. That is
Oh,
absolutely correct.
because normally it's a bear and it's not happy. It's either
Yes.
really hot or lots of mosquitoes. And I actually like have sat outside and there's no mosquitoes swarming me this year. I don't know why.
Oh, I see. I got bit up the other night,
Did
but
you?
yeah.
Oh, I hate that. I'm very sweet to them, so yes, I get eaten alive. Oh, and my cat has missed me a lot lately, so he's gonna be like running in every so often and like saying hi. So don't be surprised if you don't like cats. Just avert your eyes.
Right. Because Giraffe Cat will make his appearance.
Oh my God, he's right here by my face. I'm pretending not to look at him, but here he is. What a rude dude! Like this isn't even your show. We
It
have a special guest today, and it's not you.
We do have a special guest today. So we do like to do usually a segment of libertarians caught being good, but we're going to do the whole show of an amazing libertarian who was caught being so freaking good.
So good.
So good. Uh, I mean, always, Alex has always been known as someone who is wonderful and always. Alex Merced, our former vice chair.
Yeah.
He was able to hang up his mantle at the end of the convention, so I bet he's
Yeah.
relieved. But, at the convention, he was kind of tossed into a very difficult situation, very challenging, very emotionally charged. And dude was a fucking champ. He
Yeah,
was
right?
a champ.
A rock
So,
star.
yeah, he was a rock
Seriously.
star. Yeah.
And I will say, I have lots of different groups of people, and the common thread in the last week was we love Alex.
Yeah.
And I think he is, yes, lots of deserving love for our former vice chair of the Libertarian Party.
Yes. So let's bring Alex Merced, Alex
Yes.
Merced, Alex Merced, and Alex Merced
Are
onto
there,
the
how
show.
many of them are there, Kara?
I don't know. We'll have to ask him.
Okay, I'm going to bring the one that I see, and we'll see if there's more.
Hey everybody, how's everything?
So,
Yay!
Alex, first introduce us to your friend.
Oh, so
God.
this is my cocktail Wally, and it's happy that I'm back home after a few days of me being gone. So it's
Yes.
not quite wanting to leave my side at any point. But yeah, it's there.
And then, so how many Alex Merceds are there on Facebook?
Got it. Okay, so let me tell you the whole story behind that.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah, so what happened was in 2016, I ran for U.S. Senate against Chuck Schumer in New York. So basically, one of the things I did is I created a Facebook page for every county. So it was like, Alex Merced for this county, Alex Merced for this county, Alex Merced for this county. So eventually the campaign was over, and I'm like, what am I going to do with all these Facebook pages? So then I decided that let's try to do the ultimate A/B test and just create like a bunch of pages with slightly different names and see which one ends up getting the most likes. So like
Right.
Alex Merced this, Alex Merced that, and to see like which keywords people end up searching for and end up liking the page. and I have a Hootsuite account that I use to manage all the pages. So like I'm able to post to all of them at the same time. So that's the reason why I have so many Facebook pages.
Yeah.
The six Facebook accounts is a different story.
Wait, there's more?
There's more. But wait, there's more.
So what happened there was I hit the 5,000 friend account, and so the bird's gone for the moment. It'll be back. But I hit this 5,000 friend account, and so I started the second one. That's how the second one happened. And then when I was running for vice chair, I wanted to friend like as many libertarians as I could, because basically I can post whatever I want on my Facebook, on my own personal page. So it's just easier to be friends with them. So what I did is I would just go on my account and I would go to just different libertarian Facebook pages and literally just like friend everybody who likes any post. And then when one Facebook profile was like full, I just made another one.
Oh my God.
And that's how I ended up with 6 Facebook profiles. There's one that's just like purely like not political at all. But that one barely gets used because it's not political at all.
I love that. I think you should have conversations with yourself on these different Facebook accounts. Just like, oh, hey, Alex, how are you feeling today? Well, Alex, pretty good. What's up?
Yeah, no, it's become such now it's just become like part of my identity. So I just kind of go with it. Because like people tag like all the profiles when they want to tag me, or they'll create like group chats with all of me to talk to me on Facebook to make sure that I see their messages. So
I do.
Yeah. So now it's just there because it's a thing. Like I'm not really like running for anything right now or really like building up towards anything. So now I have all these pages. There's people there, and so far at least I'm assuming that they stuck around because they don't mind my posts. So why not let them keep seeing the posts?
We all need more Alex in our life.
Yes. We need all 6 Alexes in our life.
With the powers combined, they become a super Alex robot.
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay, somebody has to draw that like right now. Like if you have any artistic skill, make like a Voltron Alex kind of thing. That would be freaking awesome. Oh man. So I see Michelle says, "Hi Alex."
Hello. Hey Michelle. Oh, and Michelle, welcome to LP staff. I was so happy to hear that.
Yay!
Yep, she's my co-worker now.
Yay!
Good people.
Very happy about that.
I'm so happy about all the things this week. Like I was listening to the first LNC meeting since the convention yesterday, and I thought that was spectacular. It was just
a meeting.
It was just it was just a meeting. It was nice, and there was like good like talks about like oh, we should meet more often, or let's have advisory committees. There's all this really good stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is just really like makes me excited for the future.
I am so excited that things are going to be positive, and like there are some hard times this past year. I know it, but it's nice to see that we're kind of turning that corner, and then there's like positive good things.
Nice.
So I have to ask you, Alex, when we had the first sitting of the convention, or however you want to term that, and then you were chairing the end of it. Did you know that was going to happen?
You never know what's going to happen. Like I don't even know if Nick knew it was going to happen. So like it happened, but like as vice chair, you kind of like are always having in the back of your head at any moment you might get past the gavel, and that had happened like that towards the end, like the first about year and a half of me being vice chair, like not much happened. It was pretty cushy. But then starting with like the Austin LNC meeting and going forward, I started getting past the gavel more and more. So I started to expect that it might happen a little bit more. But no, I had no idea. I was literally eating a sandwich when that happened. So as soon as like it started looking like it was going in that direction, like I'm sitting there like trying to chew real quick, get back to my like laptop, because I had like the laptop on like I didn't have my headphones on, I had the speaker on, so that way I could just listen to it and eat my sandwich. And then I'm like, oh no, this is about to get past me. So I rushed to my laptop, get my headphones on, and that's when I'm like zooming in like this the minute like I turn the camera on to say, hey everybody. And then like the online part wasn't so bad. Like the part that made it really difficult was more just that it was hard to keep up with the queue, which that everything else I thought was fairly, actually was not a bad medium. And then like the hybrid though, that was much more difficult when you're having both, because you have to come up with different ways of doing things for both, especially because of some of the circumstances of this last week. But you adapt and you do the thing.
So what did you think when you started to hear more and more that it looked like a hybrid convention? It wasn't going to be all online. It wasn't going to be all in person. It was going to be a hybrid. How the heck do you do that? So what did you start to think about that when you realized that's how it was firming up?
I mean, I assumed that was from the ending of the first inning. I kind of assumed that was going to be the case. I figured that at some, like, I just couldn't figure that it could go either way unless, something happened that we just couldn't hold the event in Orlando. Right. So I assumed it was a hybrid case. So like the part I was more worried about was just more like making sure that, because like the first year and a half, I had spent more time studying Robert's rules. But then like last September, I decided to switch careers into software development. So all my study time went towards that. So I got really, really rusty. And all the stuff that I had studied before was starting to like fade away. So I had to like redo all that while still like studying software development. So like the last excuse was just like me in one book or another, and just getting really, and then also, then in the last week, after the LNC, we kind of like authorized online participation preemptively. It was very visible that there was going to be a discussion about this. So then I spent time reading up on like common law and parliamentary law and whatnot, knowing that some of those questions were going to arise in the beginning and trying to find a way that I could thread that needle. Like I felt I had an answer. I think the route that I was hoping to go kind of changed as the day went on. One, because we had recess for half the day, so the audience was kind of already restless at that point.
Right.
And then also just so things just kind of evolved as the day went on, but we found a way to get through. And I think the way it happened was the way it had to happen, because it's not just about like how you do it, but it's also about how everyone feels about how it was done. And that was my biggest concern.
Right.
Because you just go one way or the other, there's going to be a part of the delegation that's going to be not feeling good. And for an event like that to work, you need everybody together. So my mind the whole time, especially like the 3 or 4 days before, was like, okay, how can I execute this in a way where neither side feels too sore? I think the way it happened was actually not the way I planned it, but actually better in a sense, because both sides really got to see their what they wanted to play out, and in the end get to a place where both were happy. It took longer, and not 9 hours. It took technically 4 hours because we were recessed for the first of the day.
Exactly.
But where we got to, I think, allowed there to be the camaraderie for us to get through the stuff we did the next few days afterwards.
So you said something that that is exactly why everyone really likes you as a decent human being. You were talking about you weren't just studying the procedure and all that kind of stuff. You were looking to kind of guide and help how people felt about everything. Not just what they thought about it, but what they felt about it. And you went into it with that as part of your focus. And that's pretty amazing, because most of the time in meetings, people are thinking, well, these are the rules I have to follow. And so, which you did, you brushed up on the rules and all that kind of stuff. This is what we need to accomplish. These are the goals. But you always key into, how do people feel about this? Are we okay? Are we all okay as a group? And I love that. And that comes through in everything you do.
Thank you. I mean, it is part of like who I am, but also it's also practical. When everyone's on the same page with you, it's just easier to get things done. And then like even when I first joined the LNC, like I tried always try to get a feel for the room. So like in the beginning, I had a lot of motions I wanted to move, but the first thing I did is, instead of just putting them on the email list or moving them at the first meeting, I emailed a lot of especially the people who've been there for several terms. They first get their input on it, because even if they were okay with how it was, just the act of asking people are going to make them more willing to work with you and try to find a way to make what you want to do work. So it was just like a lot of that, and then also allowed me to build better relationships with everybody on the LNC, which it was. When it was great, it was amazing in a sense. Like it was I really do miss like the golden points of those 2 years. But I'm very excited to see so many I think just about everybody who's on the board right now are people who I've considered great friends who have met along the road the last few years, and I'm really excited to see what they're done. I'm already hearing great ideas and great things, and it's definitely truly like a new era. Like it definitely feels like it's the makeup of the committee is so different from one term to the other.
Mm-hmm.
It really is kind of like a new era, and you can kind of see that because what happens is that after a while, bridges get burnt. That's just the nature of people who have to work together for a long time, which is why it's good to have turnover, so that way you can have those new bridges that allow things to get done again. That was part of the reason why sometimes you need those resets, and that was part of the reason why, and luckily Omar was willing to take the gavel on for a little bit during that first day. That allowed that little sort of reset to get everybody back on track again.
Yeah. No, that was really good. So Heather, I was not a delegate. I was there as staff. Heather was there as a delegate. So Heather can speak to the delegate experience of being at the convention and what that was like. So when you were at the convention and on the floor, what was that like? How did you perceive the convention to be going?
I felt the first day was a lot more of a challenge, right? Everyone was trying to feel out where they were going with it, right?
Yeah.
But I do feel like you Alex, you yourself had this kind of calming influence over a lot of us, and I felt that you kind of bring this sense of empathy to each other, and we want to get this stuff moving forward. We want to keep going with it, and there was excitement because we didn't know if we were going to have this convention. So those of us who were there and the people that I talked to were all like, we want to make sure those who couldn't be here are represented, but they can also have their voices represented. And so I wanted to make sure it happened. And I felt like you kind of shone that light on us that made us feel like, yep, we're going to go forward with this. And I felt really good about it.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of key moments that allowed that to go as smoothly as it did. I mean, I definitely think Spike coming in at a moment to kind of speak to the audience in the midst of all that was really key to kind of getting everybody to calm everyone down for a bit. I think, again, being able to switch places with Omar for a bit allowed us to kind of get through the blockade we had for a bit. And then Joe Bishop Henchman with this compound motion at the end really kind of brought it home and got the home run right there at the end. I was going for like a football metaphor, but I ended up with a baseball metaphor. But it all works. But
it all works.
Yeah, but I do agree, like in the sense that it's important. Like one of the things. I mean, I'm not the parliamentarian of the year by any stretch of the imagination, but one thing you can do when you're in a situation like that, where it is kind of minute to minute, like literally everything you could expect to go wrong with running that convention went wrong. So it was literally minute to minute us trying to plug holes in a ship. I mean, going from before the convention saying originally it was going to be Austin, then it was going to be the Shingle Creek, and then literally they planned this convention 3 times, and the last time within a week.
I know
it was a lot of work.
I want to give a shout out to the convention committee, because I don't think people have an understanding of what they went through to plan a convention, and you have all this time to plan a convention, and they do it, and then you have something that completely upends everything that you have zero control over, and you have to replan the convention because that's your job. Whether you agree with that or not, that's your job, and you agreed you would do it. And then they had to do a third time. They had to do it a third time with even less time.
Yep.
All while everything is extremely emotional, and all while they're dealing with stuff in their own lives too, their own work life, their own personal life as well. They had shit going down just like the rest of us did, and they still had to plan this convention. So
total props to them. I tip my glass.
Yeah.
They did they pulled off something that I can't even imagine what it took to pull that off. But yeah, like basically you had that going on. Then you had the technical difficulties in the first couple of days. So we literally had to rethink how we were going to do everything. Because at the first, I wasn't worried about the hybrid convention because we had a couple different, just to kind of go back, we had the first sitting. And then that night, everyone kind of had their own reflections on sort of okay, how do we make this better? And then I built this sort of mock Airtable speaking queue, because to me the speaking queue was a part that made it hard for me. So I wasn't thinking as much about voting or registration, all those things. So then Will McVeigh from Delaware, he starts working on this sort of Slack implementation that actually kind of handles a lot of those things in Slack, which is actually pretty cool. And then TJ Ferrero works on his app, which is really cool, using really cool web technologies. I won't get too into detail on the nuts and bolts, but it handles all the things. Apparently there was just some sort of bug at the last minute. It was fixed, and the Porcupine app is still something that will certainly help us a lot in the long run at a local, state, and national level. But unfortunately, we just weren't able to use it that first day. But we went into it thinking, okay, we had with probably too much security that was going to be played. Luckily, I was able to revive the Airtable thing that I was using before at the last minute, and then that made it a little bit easier. But I was still having to manage the laptop that second day. And so literally I'm presiding and I'm filling in all this stuff and looking at and then managing the speaker queue. Then on the third day, Data Logan, he volunteered to manage that queue while I was up there. And that's what made like days 3 and 4 much smoother. At that point, we had already lost a lot of time, but those days moved a lot smoother because he was basically passing me notes, but these are the online speakers. And I was able to just preside, like just do the thing and not balance like 2 or 3 things. And then if you watch it, you'll notice there's a lot of times where people like stop by and like talk to me while I'm up on the stage. Those are all fires that have to be put out constantly. So it was fun. It was exciting though. Like you kind of get lost in the momentum of it. So at the time, like I'm just doing whatever you need to do to get to the next moment. And then why like at the last minute when we finally adjourned, I just kind of like collapsed because it was just like all that momentum just stopping. And then, but yeah, it was definitely, I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it was definitely, I couldn't ask for a better way to end my 2 years as vice chair. So overall, I'm very happy with the arc of the story, I guess.
Alex, do you feel that people underestimated you?
I'm used to that. Like when I was in college, me and Buddy decided we were going to start like a comic book store. And everyone's like, you're a couple of kids, you're not going to start a comic book store. 2 months later, we had a comic book store with a line around the corner. We made our money back. When I ran for vice chair, there was someone who had a bet that I wouldn't win. That one, I won't lie, that kind of motivated me to try even harder to win. No, I'm used to people underestimating me. It's part of having this sort of more soft-spoken kind nature. People tend to think that when the tough gets going, you're not going to get going. So those are the moments. When those moments come, I fortunately up to this point have done okay. But it doesn't bother me. I understand why people would and why people do. I rather people underestimate me and then I overperform than people expect too much from me.
The other way.
So I don't mind. It's just, it comes with the territory. Well, all I care about is that at the end of the day, any impact I leave is good.
Well, your impact absolutely has been good.
Thank you.
So what are you going to be doing now? I mean, now you have, okay, so let me ask a different question. I'll back up a second. So now you're no longer vice chair. What was that like when you realized these may still kind of be my monkeys and this may still be my circus, but I'm not one of the ringleaders?
Yeah, no, it hit me when I stopped getting the emails. It's like then I had to go find the reflector list to go like see what's coming in the email list. And I'm like, this is what everybody else has to do. But yeah, like that. There's little things that I miss. I miss getting the emails and kind of seeing what's kind of going on. It was definitely weird being in the gallery for the LNC meeting on Sunday. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna watch. But overall, I've been relaxed, which I definitely I am not complaining about, because the reason why I didn't want to run again is not that I don't want to be vice chair anymore. I did. I would have loved to continue to be on the LNC, but doing the career switch this last year, like right now I'm working the equivalent of like 2.5 jobs. So I'm literally working about 60, 70 hours a week, which limits my ability to be the vice chair where I was able to travel to many states, be part of a lot of events. And I don't want to ask people to vote for me if I couldn't give them the time I thought they deserved. So it seemed like that was the right move. I'd rather go out having done a good done a job that people are okay with, and
Yeah.
then come back when I can. I'll still be around. I'm still going to be super active. I just won't have like a word. I'll just be Alex Merced, some guy, which is fine.
You will never be some guy.
But basically, right now, I'm just going to kind of refocus on my podcast, help out with other people's campaigns, play support for a while. Like I've been campaigning for like 6 years. 2013 campaigned for New York City Comptroller. 2014 I wasn't campaigning with, and then 2016 New York Senate, U.S. Senate. 2017 NYC Comptroller, and then 2018 I ran for vice chair. And then basically, once you're in vice chair, you're just kind of like you're still traveling from state to state and doing all that stuff. So this is like the first time I've kind of had to breathe in several years and just like I don't have to go on a plane this weekend. So I'm gonna enjoy that for a little bit. If I do make a comeback of any kind of sort, it won't be probably till I don't probably plan on running for anything till 2024. For now, I just want to play support, help people's campaigns, do the podcast, just be a good messenger. So keep like that was always the main thing I wanted to do, just kind of put out messaging that's an example for how other people can message, and then let that be the thing, and then other people can like take the ball even further. So I'll just keep doing that. So, and I'll probably still go to LNC meetings depending on where they are. I just, I'll be there for the social part in the front, and then, hang around. But
well, and if it starts to get interesting, you can be in the back going, I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that.
Yeah. No, but I mean, the thing is that it's in such great hands. Like with Joe and Ken as chair and vice chair, it's going to be so smooth. It's the next couple of years are going to be golden, and the rest of the committee, it's really a good makeup that really makes up all the cross sections of the party. There are people who get along well, who know each other well, who are ready to do work, and and I mean, I can say the same thing about the previous LNC, but I mean now it's really sort of it's a lot. It's just really new.
It is. It is. Yeah, there has been quite a bit of turnover.
Mm-hmm. But I was so glad to get to serve with so many sort of LP legends as I did with like Dr. Lark and Bill Redpath, and
I know
it was cool. Like I was really intimidated the first like year and a half, being like, I'm in this room with all these like people who are like super important.
But that's what people say about you.
Yes, right?
When people were at the convention and they're like, and we would hear people, I have to make sure that I talk to Alex. Do you think, and people, and people were wondering, do they approach you? Do they talk to you? But so you're one of those LP legends now.
It's like, right?
If people remember me that way, I'll totally be humbled and appreciative. But at the end of the day, people can always approach me. I'm still always going to be just some guy, but always here to help.
Oh, somebody says this. What's a nice guy like you hanging with Heather and Kara? Come on.
All the good things.
He's slumming it. He's slumming it with us.
Aww.
Awesome.
No, so good. My favorite people.
That's awesome.
Hear that, everyone else? We're
Suck it.
favorites.
I was actually tempted to say that at some time during the convention, to be like, don't worry, you're all my favorites. Because so much of the stuff I was saying was sounding like really like middle-aged fatherly throughout the convention. So I was like, I might as well just sit there and say, don't worry, none of you, like, just say stuff like that.
I love all my children.
Yep.
Even the troublesome ones sometimes. Well,
and that was like after the convention, one of the things I saw was you made a comment about depending on where you stood, you were unhappy with one of two gentlemen who spoke frequently. But you thanked both of them for the help that they extended to you.
Yeah, like basically on that, like both of them, when they spoke, were doing it because they felt something was the right thing at the time. Like I understood that.
Yeah.
Like I didn't feel like they were doing it because we just really want to bug Alex. They were doing it because at the time they felt this was right, and sometimes they were right, and sometimes they did end up bringing up points that prevented the convention from going down corners that probably would have been hard to get out of. So
Right.
I appreciate that. And while certain times were sort of there was definitely moments of tension in there. At the end of the day, I always tried not to lose sight of that. Everyone's going up to no one's in the Libertarian Party because they don't care. Like this is not something you do casually. Like I just wanna, you're in the party because you care. So everyone in that room, I know, cares about what we're doing. And even when I may not agree with what they're trying to do in that moment, or there's a moment of frustration, I'm constantly reminding myself that like I have to make sure that like this person's voice get heard, and I got to understand of what they're trying to do and see if I can find a way to get everyone, them and everyone else there. So there were, I tried to be accommodating where I could, even when people probably think I shouldn't have. I think it's better to let everyone feel like they had a voice.
Yes. Yeah.
And we're being heard.
Yeah. To increase participation, not decrease. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And people think you're an LP rock star.
He is an LP rock star.
I need to start playing guitar again. I was just organizing all my old music stuff into. There's actually now a podcast, Music by Alex Merced. I'm just recycling all my old musical stuff. So that's a thing. So
I have this fantasy that we're gonna have some Libertarian Party reality show, and like we'll have like people who play music, and like you get Vermin Supreme, we get Dulap Nelson. It'd be like the best show like ever.
Yeah, I got to share a room with Vermin Supreme in was it 2018 or 2019? I think it was 2019 at the Pennsylvania convention, and that was really cool. He was just a real cool guy, and I really enjoyed talking to him.
He also is someone that is just very kind and decent, like a kind and decent human being. I saw him, because I hit a lot of conventions too, and I saw him several times take time away from campaigning for the presidential nominee because he was taking time to address someone's need or concern that had nothing to do with running for office or anything like that. It was someone would be having a moment of distress, and he would quietly and kindly assist them in whatever moment of distress that they were having. And he did it without being showy about it or anything like that. He just did it because he saw someone had a need and he could assist them. And so, of course, why would you not?
No, I agree. Like, Vermin is just awesome. I just always enjoyed having him around. So, yes. Yay.
Plus, he makes some pretty snazzy ties.
I do have some of those ties. Yes.
I bought one for my son.
Nice. Nice. The glitter ones? Like the favorite one? Yes. I gotta find mine somewhere.
Gotta be styling.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite things.
Glitter
everywhere. What is that?
Glitter.
Craft herpes? Right?
Craft herpes.
Oh, craft herpes.
Yeah.
Like a new product? Like with the macaroni and cheese?
No, you never get rid of them. If someone brings glitter into your home, it's craft herpes, and you are never getting rid of it. You are going to find glitter forever. So it's like herpes. You're not getting rid of it.
Got it. Okay. Craft with a C, not craft with a K. Okay.
Right.
Got it. Understood. I am now in the loop.
Glitter is the devil.
Yes. Glitter is the devil. That is correct. And Heather and I have been to a lot of events where people are wearing body glitter and then they want to hug you and you're like, oh,
Hi.
damn it.
And then like you're at work like 3 weeks later and they're like, there's something on you. It's like shiny. I'm like, oh no. I'm never gonna get rid of this.
Now I need to buy copious amounts of glitter.
Like everywhere.
I'm just gonna co-op glitter from everyone else. I'm gonna become like Rip Van Taylor or
Oh, Yeah, that walk into the room, whew, throwing people like never invite Alex to any parties anymore. He throws glitter. That shit is everywhere. I love it.
So other than studying like crazy because you're in a job transition,
Yes.
what do you have going on in the future?
Literally,
What's your next chapter?
I mean, I don't know if we'll sort of like what the next chapter is. A couple different things I'm doing. Like basically, as I mentioned, I'm working for General Assembly, and that's been going really well. I mean, just to kind of talk about the story arc. I mean, I was a student in General Assembly like just last September. And then what happens, like prior to General Assembly, I was a finance instructor. So I worked in the financial industry, training people up and down. So during the course, I would make videos for my fellow students, helping them, for my fellow students to help them understand some of the concepts they were having trouble with. So the instructor noticed. So then basically at the end of the course, when I was like starting my job search, I had already found another job with the software development agency. And at the same day that I was about to accept that offer, he goes, do you want a job? And so they offer me, and then usually you would like become an instructor assistant first. Yeah. But they just basically asked me to be an instructor because of just sort of the videos, and they enjoyed what they saw and whatnot. So that was really cool. And so basically I became an instructor, and now I've taught. I'm on my third and fourth. No, actually. Yeah, I'm on my third and fourth course right now that I'm teaching for them. And there's all sorts of like surveys you take with the students take and to get grades. And so far, like the results of the courses I've done so far have been pretty awesome. I'm very happy with sort of the performance so far. And then on top of that, I got that other job where I'm working for actually developing software, so primarily JavaScript, back-end and front ends, particularly with like React. So basically what I've been doing is just learning coding beyond that. So I've learned like 5 or 6 languages now. I'm learning other ones. And I've done a YouTube channel. So that way, as I learn, this is the same thing I did with Liberty. When I first became a libertarian, I started a YouTube channel back in 2008. And every time I was reading all these books by like Mises, Friedman, Rothbard, etc., like what I would do is as I would read, I would make videos just talking about what I just learned. Because one, it helps me understand it better, but a lot of other people kind of get those insights too. And that's kind of how I got known originally. So that's because it was those videos that allowed Michael Sanchez in New York City to know who I was, who then called me to become the New York City New York City public advocate candidate in 2013. That's how I got involved with the LP. So now I'm kind of doing the same thing in coding, and it's been going really well. Like the YouTube videos have been picking up some pace, just talking about code. I'm still doing libertarian videos and libertarian podcasting, just not as prolific as I was before. I was like doing like 3 or 4 videos in a day. Now I'm more like that with coding, where I'll come up with like 3 or 4 videos in a day, just like different exercises, different languages, different stuff. So it's kind of balancing out the two, but basically a lot of my time has kind of gone on the software development front. So that is kind of the chapter. Like I always like to make sure that like I leave an imprint in whatever I'm in at the moment. So right now I'm still like leaving sort of my imprint in the software development space. I'm new, but certainly like building momentum. So I've been very happy with how that's gone. LP wise, again, I'm probably gonna be more support for at least the next year. Also because I just don't know where I'm going to move yet. Like the plan, I'm more than likely Orlando. So
I've been watching you debate where you're moving.
Yeah,
that's been for a while now, hasn't it? 6 months?
Yeah, I've been trying to move since like 2016.
Well, that's a little longer than that. But I thought you were getting kind of serious about it in like the last 6 months.
Yeah.
That's when I saw you asking, should I move here? What was it, North Carolina? Different places.
Yeah, we still really love Charlotte. Like I really love Charlotte. It's just we have family.
It's a great place. Just don't carry a tiki torch.
No worries about that. Basically we have family in Orlando. We have friends in Orlando. One of the nice things, the best thing about being on the LNC after 2 years is you then have friends and family everywhere.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, it's that's pretty cool. Like you can literally just go anywhere and there's people you can hang out with and
immediately.
Yeah, like that is the best part. But so technically I have friends everywhere. But Orlando, but my wife's godkids are there. Her mother's like an hour away. So it seems like the most logical next step.
Yeah.
And that was the reason why I haven't run for anything locally over the last several years, because I didn't know if like next month am I going to pick up and move. That was
Right.
and then suddenly, I get a call from Johnny Adams back in early 2018. Let me think about that. No, late 2017. It was right after I finished the comptroller's race. I get a call. It's like, dude, you should run for vice chair. And then like a week later, I get a call from Larry Sharp. It's like, dude, you should run for vice chair. And then I was like, okay, well, if Johnny Adams from the Johnny Rocket Launchpad and Larry Sharp, who's Larry Sharp, is telling you to run for vice chair, I guess I should.
For vice chair.
Yeah, I originally was just toying with that large, and I wasn't even sure about that. And then they kind of gave me the push, and I was like, okay, I'll do it. And I was like, I'm not going to win, but this will be a fun thing to do. And then I won. And then like, okay, I won, but chances are I'll never have to like really hold the gavel that much. And,
Guess what?
sometimes you just kind of fall into the place you need to be when you need to be there. So I'm a totally believer of that. Like, I've always kind of met the right people, been at the right time, in the right place for the next stage of my life to happen, whether it was the comic book shop, whether it was actually being in the Philippines right after the comic book shop closed, because that's where I ended up seeing Ron Paul in a debate that led me to becoming a libertarian. So literally, like, if I had never opened that store and that store had not closed, I would have never gone to the Philippines. I would have never saw that debate, and I would have not gone from like a far lefty to being the rabid libertarian I am today. So it's all interconnected. Like, you just kind of let things happen as they happen.
It was supposed to happen.
Yeah, like I am certainly a believer that like things don't must happen the way they're going to happen, but if you let it, the right things will happen.
Yeah.
I will say, you were mentioning hitting the gavel, and I think my favorite meme that I've seen lately is you holding a Mjolnir Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
And I was like, as a comic book guy, how does that make you feel?
I was thrilled at some of the memes. I love the memes. It's funny because I went viral twice in these last 2 years. One of the best ones I saw was like on Twitter. Someone was taking like all these like Thor gifs, and there's this like gif of like Thor hanging up his hammer when he goes home, and they're like right, Alex Merced after arriving home from the LNC. I was like, yes. Unfortunately, I think at some point I have the base, but I lost the hammer. Which is sad. That would have been a good thing to help like to raise money for some state at some point. But I still have the base. That was the part I threatened to throw on the ground. So that will get auctioned off at some point. but no, it was all great. Like, I love when I get to be subject of humor. Like, I don't mind. Like, some people get sensitive about being at the end of a joke, but I love being at the end of the joke, because especially if people do it more than once, that means at least they understand you're okay with being part of the joke, and then it takes on a different tone. And it's definitely, I take it as a form of effect, of like an expression of affection.
Those memes were definitely all about affection. It was so much love. Oh my god!
I know. That was a very emotional few days for me. I'd never have felt that much love from that many people all at one time. And it was especially that last day after they gave me the sign with all the signatures on it.
Yes.
Like that, it was really hard to keep it together from that point forward.
Yeah. No, it was all about the love. Did at any time during the convention were you ever thinking about burning up inside with rage?
Having a whole.
Do you ever have rage? Do you have rage, Alex? Ever?
Well, I did for a minute there. There was a moment. That's pretty much me when I get mad. Like, and it's never like I generally don't get mad because people are doing things to me. I generally get mad because people are doing things to each other, and then like that's like, because I don't know, like if someone says something mean to me, like what does it matter? I don't care. I know who I am. But I definitely, I don't know if other people, have that same introspection. And when I think that someone else might have made someone else feel bad or been unfair to someone else, that bothers me quite a bit more, because I you don't know for sure what kind of damage might have been caused, and that certainly bothers me. But yeah, no, I'm not saying I never get mad. I just oftentimes channel it into doing productive things, because I don't. and then also when you get really angry, you get your judgment gets cloudy.
Yeah.
So as soon as I start hearing myself feeling myself like get angry, I oftentimes think it's like, wow, what's the purpose? And then I just stop. But
See, I just usually drink alcohol.
I can't do that.
Did anybody buy you a beer? I saw there was
No,
some.
he is not a drinker. So what did you buy? Cranberry?
Cranberry juice. Like
Yeah.
I think I drink one mimosa during the time there. Because someone got it for me, and I'm not gonna, if someone gives me something, I'm not gonna say no. So I drank the mimosa, which was fine. I enjoy mimosas, but I generally don't drink.
Cranberry juice is very good for you and very healthy.
Oh yeah. No, I'm all about cranberry juice. And then, but yeah, no, I mean, it's not that I have any. I just never got into it. I guess it just I'm not the flavor just never sat well with me. So it's not like I don't mind being drunk. Like I've been drunk in the past, and it's fun. I don't know. I just never got down with like the sort of the taste of liquor or beer in my mouth. So that's just one thing I picked up.
Cat, that frickin' cat does get points for persistence. Holy shit, Heather.
He missed me. I've been gone for a couple days, and he's like sucking on my face. Oh my god, it was I'm sorry. I apologize. It's not very professional, Rory.
It's all good.
He's like, I don't care.
Cat don't care.
I was like, do you have questions for Alex? Is this why you're here?
Yes.
It's like he wants to know more about your bird, and if he can hang out with him.
Yeah.
I would say no, don't do that.
Yeah, no. I always joke around like when the bird misbehaves. I go to my wife like, so we should get a cat. But no, but no, I love all the animals. I've had cats, dogs, birds. I'm trying to think if I've had any. Everyone's had had goldfish that lasted like a few days, but that's.
We're not very hardy.
I'm trying to think if I had any other miscellaneous pets. I mean, my brother-in-law's had a chinchilla. That was fun to take care of. Yeah, it's so cute. Yeah. I mean, I've had some pets. Oh, we've had hamsters. Hamsters were fun, but they break your heart really quickly. Which is
it's so true.
That was the reason why we got a bird, because we were tired of like every few years our hearts being broken. You can only do that so much.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, we did two hamsters when my son was little. We had one. His name was Chip, and then he died. So, which my son was heartbroken for a very short period of time, and then he said, "Well, guess we got to go to the store and get a fresh one."
Oh my god!
So we did. We went and got a fresh one. But our other two pets, which was a dog and a cat, both wanted to eat the hamster. So it got a little bit of a complex, and it became a really mean hamster. So when we would clean the cage, my husband would put leather fireplace gloves on to hold it, and then he would get it and put it in another container, and we would clean it, and because otherwise that thing would just bite the shit out of you. It was not a very snuggly pet.
Yeah, no. Hamsters are so cute, but they are not snuggly per se.
No.
But yeah.
It's on their own terms, I think.
Yes. But yeah, no, it's always sad to lose a pet. Like the thing is that like I'm a crier. Like I cry like at every movie. Like every Disney Pixar movie I cry at. So I remember like when I was like a kid, there was this video game Monster Rancher, and in Monster Rancher, you actually like your monster dies after a certain amount of time. Like you raise it, it ages, and then it dies.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, and I remember like the first time that happened, like I was like in tears, like no. Even though like it's like game wise, it's probably like 10 hours you have it, and then it's like gone. But like it was all like dramatic. It would like the screen would turn white, and you see the thing like choke and like fall over, and you're just like,
oh my god, that's awful.
It was such a good game though.
So many kids were traumatized by that. I gotta tell you, Kara.
I remember there was one that came in like it was a little electronic device that looked like an egg. Yes, I had that.
Oh, I had those too. I had lots of those.
And I was so sad if it like was unhappy. I'm just like, this is a torture device for me. It's just like, I can't do enough for you, little electronic toy pet. I
was always like, suck it up. What is wrong with you? Buck up, man. You got to toughen up.
What's with you with that little digital poop? No.
Yeah. If you want to live, you better start doing shit for yourself.
Never did.
Mine didn't last long.
And I'm good with animals, like except for the ones that harass me while I'm doing shows. But, it's just like those electronic ones were the worst. You could never make them happy enough.
Then eventually you're just like, okay, I gotta put this aside, and then it died. You left it alone for like 5 minutes, like dead.
Dead.
Memories.
Why don't they bring those back? Yeah, no, please.
Who knows? I mean, I'm sure there's probably like several apps now, or mobile games are like that now.
Right?
So you don't even have a separate device. It's just everything's on your device.
Everything.
All the things.
You just have an app that just bothers you every so often. Like, hey, how about food now? And like, no, how about not?
Alex,
not a bad idea. Huh?
May I ask a personal question?
Oh, God.
How old are you?
I am now 35. I was 34 a couple weeks ago. So like
you're a baby.
Aw.
You're a baby.
You're not like literally a baby, but to us, maybe a little bit of a baby.
I feel like a baby.
Yes. You're
sweet.
It's
been like that's, yeah. I mean, that's, I tried, like the way I always frame things to myself is that I make my choices based on what will be the best story. Basically, at the end of the day, because I don't know how long I'm gonna live. Who knows? I might be. Who knows? But long as I feel like when the time comes, the story I left behind was a story worth telling. I was good. And like, so like in college, we did the comic book store thing. There was a trip to the Philippines. Yeah. All the runs for office. Like, there was a couple other things. I was a radio show DJ. And there was all these little things. Like they never became huge global phenomena. But I can say I did those things. I can say, hey, I released a book. I can say, hey, I hosted a podcast. It's a story, and then that's just sort of like the way I look at just like living life. Is like I'm creating a story. Might as well create a story worth telling.
But I want to be Alex Merced when I grow up. I kind of do too.
Oh.
So you've been doing all these amazing things, Alex, and you have all these really great achievements. Do you have like a dream for something? What's next down the road? Like do you have
like what's a big dream?
A big dream. I know it's scary, right?
I'm like pretty happy where I'm at right now, honestly. I usually the things that I end up doing are I never plan to do them. They just kind of get thrust upon me. It always works out. It's just I don't know. Like I just kind of really just do live day to day at this point in life. So I'm very impulsive. So when the next thing comes, it'll just show up, and I'll be like, "Let's do it." So there'll be a thing. I just don't know what it is yet. So.
Okay. So we do something on our show where we say one awesome thing that happened to us this week. Mm-hmm. And it can be something big, something small. It doesn't matter. It's just one awesome thing that happened that made your week like a good week, where you're like, yep, that was really good. So do you want to go first, Heather? Do you want me to go first?
I want you to go first. Okay. I'm trying to narrow it down.
Yeah, she had a really good week. So she's got a long list of things. So for me this week, it would probably be I was able to just spend some time with my husband in the pool for a while on Saturday. And it was just the two of us. We have a pool at our townhome association. And I mean, yeah, there were other people there, but it was just the two of us kind of hanging out. And that was really nice. And we're both usually so busy that it doesn't happen as often as it really should. So
I understand that.
That was pretty awesome.
I love that. Let's see. So for me, I got to visit some friends that I haven't seen in a while and probably won't get to see for a while more because of this stupid weird year. But I feel like it was all worth it. And I got to see a collection of Marvel stuff as like a comic. Oh my God, there's a cat. I got to see Thor's hammer like up close and Loki's helmet. So I feel like my life is pretty much complete now.
Oh, that's really cool.
So
my
many
hammer?
years.
I didn't get to touch it. I was like teasing that I was gonna like open it up and like see if I could pick it up, but I think they would have tackled me, so I didn't do it.
Very awesome. Well, I guess it's my turn then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, there's lots of good things to say about the last week or so. I mean, it's been a little bit over a week now, but I mean, getting to spend 3 days with my extended Libertarian Party family was very nice. And then just sort of the level of relaxation I got to have the week afterwards was very nice. The fact that I'm in good health and that, so far everything looks pretty good coming back. I'm pretty happy about that. I was definitely scared about that. I'm not you never know. So, I'm glad that I'm okay. And then, yeah. And then I get to spend today with you guys. That's also phenomenal. So
Yay!
I'm thankful.
Well, Heather, you can continue. I have to bump out because I have to do some candidate training. So I have to jump onto a Zoom call and do some candidate training.
Yeah, and I do have to hop on another call as well.
I'm going to say, guys, this is a good spot to stop. Thank you, Alex, for joining us today. And Matt, what a bitch, dude. She's so
claws.
But thank you so much for spending time with us, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you so much. I love you guys.
You are the frickin' best.
Yes. Have a wonderful week. And everyone, we'll see you next Wednesday. Not this Wednesday, next Wednesday at our usual place and time. Love y'all. Bye, guys. Later.
See ya.